Let us talk about music. What is music? How does it affect a believer? What should the believer look out for in music? What is the difference between gospel music, secular music, and worldly music? Chris, let us hear from you. What are the differences?
Okay, speaking from secular means something religious, not religious or not related to anything spiritual matter.
Yeah.
And if we talk about songs like the national anthem,
Yeah.
we can even say it's a secular song.
Yeah.
We can say these birthday songs that we sing,
Yeah.
secular song.
Yeah.
But there's more to it.
Yeah.
There's a branch of secular music that we call worldly music, or worldly song, as it were. So I would just define it as coining it out from 1 John 2:15 that says, let me just try to peep through. It said, "For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life."
Yeah.
So any song that is promoting that,
Yeah.
and that is going against what is in Philippians 4:8. That's whatever that is true, whatever that is right, all of those things. Think about this.
Yeah.
You understand? Those are songs that
Term worldly.
Yes.
Yeah. So what then is gospel song? What is gospel music?
All right. Gospel music are song. Music is from God, and it is a gift from God. It is a gift from God.
Yeah.
So this song that are gospel are songs that drive us towards God.
Yeah.
That revive our spirits.
Yeah.
Songs goes into your spirit, man. Because songs are actually they are entities that does not need permission.
Yeah.
To enter
the spirit, to get into the soul.
At all. It does not need permission. Once you start playing it, it drives into your soul.
Yeah.
So songs that lift up your souls towards God, not towards any other thing. Listening to worldly song can drive you towards drugs.
Yeah, and stuff like that.
Exactly. So songs that drives you back to God, that wants you to know God more. Those are what I feel like.
Yeah, that's gospel.
Yeah.
And so we have justified some points where you talked about secular songs being songs that are not spiritual songs, where we talk about, for instance, the national anthem. And you mentioned that there's a branch of secular music that we term worldly, that is songs that promote lust of the flesh and that of the eyes, and also pride of life. Now, talking about gospel songs, there are some songs that we call gospel, but they are not truly gospel songs.
Okay.
Say, for instance, I'm painting a scenario where a song that used to be attributed to a deity, right? But people, because they come to the knowledge of a higher power, that which is God, which is more supreme, they now take those songs and attribute those songs to God. They attribute those characteristics to God. And those characteristics are not part of the characteristics of God. Say, for instance, someone calling God Shongiri Lagiri. It is not right. Because God is not Shongiri Lagiri. Because every good thing comes from God. All right? Every good thing comes from God. So you saying God is Shongiri Lagiri does not tally with the scriptures.
Yes.
All right? So there's also a point of context, point of experience when we talk about gospel music. Say, for instance, if you want to sing a song where it says, my old friends failed me, or my family turned their back on me, the question is, did your family turn their backs on you? So we have to be very careful of how we choose what we sing. I listen to that song, but I don't sing that particular line. I don't sing those lines because my friends, my family, they are there for me.
Maybe from we can actually relate it to the author.
Yeah.
Okay, for example, I heard that, or I read that all these hymnals that we used to do, that they are from life experiences.
Yeah.
People really went through a lot, and then they sat down, just like John wrote Revelation.
Yeah.
It was something graphic to him.
Yeah.
So I believe that songs like that, my old friends, it might be that the person that sang it has something to do with that scenario.
Yeah, obviously. That's the same point I'm also driving at, where you can't sing someone else's experience for them. I mean, you can't personalize someone else's experience.
Yeah.
Say, when my back was against the world and it seemed as if it was over. I mean, we can use that song in a way, but then in a worship gathering, we can't really use that song because it's possible that not everyone can relate to it.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So songs like Amazing Grace, How Sweet It Sounds, everyone can relate to it. And also, let's talk about this situation where we have distractions, music distractions during service. Say, for instance, the instrumentations and all these things, what the syncopations that instrumentalists are playing, sometimes they tend to distract. What do you think about those things, about those syncopations, riffs and runs and the like?
Well, I believe that this thing, fine. We are trying to modify things,
Yes.
bring out excellence.
Yeah.
How that drums and piano and bass will come together to form something significant.
Yeah.
But I believe that discipline should come into this thing.
Yes.
Because for me, if I'm outside there as part of the congregation and I hear some riffs, I might have to come back. Because I might have been going like, oh, this thing is doing me fine, like I'm catching the inspiration.
Yeah.
But when I hear some riffs that are not
You tend
necessary,
to lose your focus.
that's just it. So I believe that as a gospel person, as somebody that leads, that sings, there should be some kind of caution.
Yeah.
Not every time you do those things. To me.
Yeah. I was also with a friend in his car one time, so we were listening to You Are Jaira. So I was telling him that in this song, these people did not do any riffs or runs, but the song still blesses lives.
That's true.
So it is safe for us to be, for music ministers, for some music ministers, to be very careful of how they exercise their musical abilities, because it can distract. Imagine imagine I'm already I want to hear what you're saying, but you're riffing what you're saying away.
Imagine.
So how can I be edified? Because that's the purpose of gathering. So let's talk about using secular beats, or let me say using beats from some worldly songs, right, and using them to form arrangements for service. What's your take on that? What's your take on that?
Well, I do not blame people. I do not judge. Let me use that word. I do not judge people that do it. Sometimes people that do it from a very good mind. That, okay, I do not like how this thing is trending outside there. Okay, since people are tilting towards that direction, let me just craft some godly lyrics into it so that they can bring it to church. So I'm not judging them. But to me, I felt like Holy Spirit has depth that can bring so many for us. That's just it. Matthew 9:16-17 says that you cannot put a new wine into an old wine skin. It is not useful. Both of them will break.
Yeah.
So why will you put a sacred lyrics? Because I term godly lyrics as sacred into using a mundane beats that everybody knows it already.
Yeah.
So it's just like you are attributing the whole thing to the initial singer. Do you understand? Okay, when you hear a particular beat that is all over the club, and then you hear it with a different lyrics, first thing that will run into your mind is that initial one.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And you feel like, okay, let's still vibe with this.
Yeah.
But to me, nah, it's nothing.
Still on that, I stumbled upon a live praise session where they used the theme of Game of Thrones as their intro. So I was discussing with my music director, and I was like, if we play this thing in church, pastor is going to send us away from the stage. Now, the reason is not that the music is not good. It's not as if it's not people can't vibe to it. But it is a situation of where when people hear that sound, they are distracted from the focus, which is to worship God. Then their minds are now cast back to where
they are watching
the Game of Thrones. Do you get? So it is very important for us to be prudent and for us to be careful with how we select or what we select. Or it is even advisable not to even use them at all.
Yeah.
it is advisable not to use
Just
them
keep
at all.
off. That's true.
Yeah. So summarily, the concept is gospel music or gospel songs are songs that are consistent with the scriptures. It's basically singing the gospel. It's basically singing about God.
Yes.
That's basically what Christian songs entail. And when we talk about secular songs, we talk about songs that are not from the context of a believer. Now, just songs that are not gospel filled, right? But we can have two dimensions where some have good lyrics, some have bad lyrics, because the determining factor of songs or music is the lyrics, right? Is the lyrics where evil communication can corrupt good manners, where you can then where we still need to guard our hearts with all diligence, because out of it are issues of life, where it is what I'm exposed to over and over and over that we express.
Yeah, every
time
music
and time
has
again.
their own message.
Yeah, they have their own message. So there are some secular songs, say for instance, like the national anthem you mentioned earlier. Those songs are good songs, but then there's also the worldly songs too, like you described, songs that promote lust of the flesh and that of the eyes, and also the pride of life. So it is very important for believers to be very careful of what they listen to, primarily of what they listen to, because if you're out of the abundance of your heart, right, that is what you tell me. That's what I'm going to tell you, right? Well, out of the abundance of my heart, that's what I'm going to express out.
Yes, sir.
So if I'm preparing for a Sunday service and the only thing I listen to 24/7 is worldly music or worldly songs, I can't have any creative idea that will tend to focus on the things of the spirit. That will tend to focus on the things of
As
the
a matter
gospel.
of fact, the spirit will not even move.
So
because it is what you have within
yeah,
that you showcase outside. So you cannot listen to worldly music and want to pretend outside.
Yeah.
It does not work.
it won't work.
Even if you are out here, the height of what you do is gymnastic. Okay?
Yeah.
Raise up your hands, stand up,
Yeah,
and there will not be that intent of the flow of the
Yeah.
spirit.
yeah. So summarily, the content of gospel music is the lyrics. And it is important for believers not to be distracted during worship sessions, where it is possible where we see some people choose to use worldly beats, worldly sounds to sing the gospel. As it were, it is not accurate based from this discussion that we've just discussed.
So if you are a true believer, you should be able to at least do away with some secular music, even or
Yeah,
probably, and worldly song, because if you are not, you cannot minister effectively. Musicians, the instrumentalists, vocalists, backup singers, every of us, they should be at least do away with it.
Yeah.
And the best way to do away with it is to listen to edifying songs. We have so many out there. Because I wonder why people say that, okay, when in weddings, I would do worldly songs. So that's into trends. Like, okay, but I want to believe that there are so many thousand songs on which are gospel and fitting perfectly that we've not even explored.
Yeah.
Understand? So listen to edifying music, stay there
Yeah.
in your secret place. Holy Spirit has depths in which he can give according to how much you can even be there to listen and to rub minds with him. So that is just one strong recommendation, to be with the Holy Spirit enough to receive in from him. That's what I primarily know, that Holy Spirit has it all. Do you understand?
Yeah. Yeah. To add to that, even as a round off, I would like to say that music is an art. It inspires creativity.
Yeah.
So the more you know musically, I'm not talking about the number of songs. The more you know musically, talk about chords on keyboard or on the piano. Chords on the keyboard, we have the major, we have diminished, we have the augmented, etc. So the more you know, the more creative you become, then you now tend to create your own spice,
Yeah.
right? That's how you create, because it's concept plus concept forms new concept. That new concept plus another old concept comes together, forms a new concept. So when you, as you're spending time with the Holy Spirit, spending time in the place of fellowship with the Spirit, you can, and then you learn music, and then you learn music. Creativity will be inspired.
Yeah.
Will be inspired.
I agree.
Yeah. So I'd like to know your thoughts. I would like to know what your recommendations may be. Please do well to comment in the comment section, and please like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Thank you.